I'm Jackie Ware,
Hi, I'm Alex Aminurad.
And I'm Raymond Van Beveren.
and you're watching episode 14 of On Air with Jackie Ware. Welcome back to On Air with Jackie Ware. I'm excited to dive into the importance of today's topic, preparing multifamily communities for the challenges of winter. Winter can be one of the toughest seasons for multifamily community maintenance teams, and preparation is key to avoiding costly emergencies. I'm joined today by Raymond and Alex from HD Supply, who are here to share best practices and solutions to help properties teams stay ahead of the cold. All right, let's dive into some background, guys. All right, Raymond, as Vice President at HD Supply, how has your career path shaped the way you think about supporting multifamily operators?
Yeah, so that's actually a great question because I started off in multifamily 27 years ago. I was playing basketball in Europe and I got a phone call from a multifamily owner and said, "What are you doing in your life?" And I said, "Oh, I'm playing basketball in Amsterdam." And he goes, "No, come work for me in multifamily and learn the ropes." And so I started off 27 years ago as a porter, then moved to maintenance tech, maintenance supervisor, leasing agent, bookkeeper, which we called it back then. Right now it's an assistant manager, all the way. And then shortly after that, I moved here to Atlanta to be a project manager on his new development stuff that he had going on and some renovations. And that led to procurement, maintenance, and all those things that I've led over the years of 27 years. And then 4 years ago, I decided to join AC Supply and lead their multifamily team. I think did it for 27 years on what operators need and want from their suppliers.
Yeah, it sounds like there's nothing you haven't done in maintenance, quite frankly.
Exactly. Feel like we're prepared.
That's the beauty of the career path of multifamily, from porter to VP at HD Supply.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's been great. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Alex, after Raymond stole the show, let's jump into you. Alex, as Director of National Accounts, what trends are you hearing from property managers across the country as winter approaches?
Yeah, that's a great question. And Raymond's done it all. So we lean on him a lot to help us guide the multifamily maintenance teams on best practices, on what they're doing. We're seeing a lot more heavy focus on preparation. We were talking earlier, I'm a Florida guy, and exactly 1 year ago today, Milton hit us.
Yeah.
So even beyond just winterization, preparation is super important. In regards to winterization, weather has continued to become more unpredictable. Staffing constraints has become the norm for our industry. So we're seeing more of a shift towards preparation and making sure that multifamily management companies have the parts and materials and checklists prepared now to be ready for those events that come up beforehand. A lot of pre-stocking on ice melt, making sure you have piping insulation, and doing things that may not cross your mind at the first shot, which is HVAC preventative maintenance. Those are all important things to do to be prepared ahead of time for season. One of the other things we're seeing a lot to help supplement the labor challenges is utilization of partnerships through HD Supply that allow for us to help them with some of the things we do, like HVAC preventative maintenance services. We do next day installation in almost every market, as well as water heaters. So we could really help with those challenges. Another thing we're seeing a lot from the operator to the resident side is we're seeing a lot of more proactive communications from the property management companies to the residents to set expectations of what will happen in disasters or emergency situations. It helps make the resident prepared, and it helps make them feel safe, which is super important for satisfaction, obviously. In addition to that, we're seeing a lot more deployment in apps, technology, and AI that's allowing for those communications to be pushed out to the resident more frequently.
Yeah, agreed. That communication really is everything.
Absolutely.
So when would you say people should start preparing for like the winter?
I would lean on Raymond to answer that with his expertise, but I would say the earlier the better. One thing I would say is if you're preparing for winter in the fall, you're already behind.
Yeah, I would add to that. I think it didn't feel like it today when I woke up here in Atlanta that winter was coming pretty fast, but I think there's a lot of work to do in ahead of time, right? And to make sure you have your product in stock, to learn from your lessons. And I know we'll get to some of these questions later on, but I think learning from the lessons that happened in prior years is the most, where did your pipes burst? Are those insulated now?
Yeah.
Or are we just going to roll the dice and hope it doesn't get as cold as it did last year? So we don't want to do that. So I think you prepare for winter all year long in your CapEx planning that you do prior the prior year, and make sure you resolve the issues that caused some of your big problems that happened the year before, the
Excellent.
prior years.
Alex, how does HD Supply position itself as a strategic partner, not just as a supplier, but in helping properties prepare for the seasonal challenges?
Yeah, that's a great question as well. We go far beyond just delivering products. We work with our partners and our clients to make sure they have winter readiness strategies. We provide pre-turn checklists, material checklists, data points that help them understand the seasonality of what they've experienced in the past in the property to ensure they're prepared and ready for those events that can potentially come to them in the future.
Do you have those checklists for every market? I know you
Yes.
service nationwide.
Yeah, we do. And I would add too, and Alex leads our national account team here in the Southeast. And so that team works with, I call it corporate offices, to create programs and ensure that they have all the necessary programs in place for winterizing. But then what they're supported by our field sales teams, our inside sales teams that call on the properties every day. And we send them out and say, hey, have you bought last year? You bought ice melt, you bought weather stripping and those types of things, making sure to support you guys. And whatever the message that comes down from the corporate office and Alex and his team do at a national account level, that gets pushed down to our field sellers and inside sellers as well, along with our Renovation Plus team, who then is prepared and says, hey, last year they were in need of a new HVAC because they broke, or it's an older property, or a hot water heater on demand. So our renovation team, who does those things within 24 or 48 hours in markets, that they're prepared on certain properties as well.
Wonderful. Open to either one of you. From your vantage point, what winter-related maintenance challenges are most pressing in the multifamily space today? Let's do the Southeast, and then we'll do other regions.
Yeah. One thing that the Southeast never prepares for is freezing pipes because they will burst.
We've learned that lesson.
Happened in Texas a couple of years ago, and it was it was a big deal. And doing preventative maintenance on HVAC, I know I said it before, but whenever winter hits and winter is coming in the Southeast, we see the work orders increase on, hey, something's burning, right? And it's that electrical element that's just burning off the dust. So just doing the preventative maintenance and making sure your pipes are winterized are always key to being successful.
Yeah, and I think in the Northeast, Midwest, where we get snow, I think they're a lot more prepared for it, but sometimes.
Then we are?
Yes,
sure?
exactly. But it's, you'd be amazed in how many calls we get. Hey, you're out of ice melts because a big storm's coming and they're not prepared. And now we have to move ice melt all over the country to take care of certain customers and things like that. They have to pre-order a lot earlier, and they need a lot more of it. I was traveling recently and I was like, what are these sticks next to the curbs? And they're like, you must live in the Southeast. Those are curb sticks so people don't hit the curbs or our fire hydrant when they get over 24 inches of snow. I was like, oh, okay. And I asked one of my teammates, do we sell those? And I go, yes, of course we do. So I learn every day.
You can look it up on the store, the online store.
Exactly. But yeah, they have to prepare earlier. They have to make sure they have shovels and all the equipment. And their buildings are built better, right? So they don't necessarily deal as much with breaking pipes as we do here in the Southeast.
Yeah.
And having items on hand like portable AC units that have heating capabilities, those are key. But I learned something new today as well. I didn't know you needed sticks for snow. So I'm a South guy. I grew up in LA and I lived in Tampa all my life. So snow is foreign to me.
You only know perfect weather.
Only like perfect weather.
And hurricanes.
One thing I tell my team in national accounts is if there's snow, I don't go.
If there's snow, I don't go. Love that. I should get that motto. How are rising costs, staffing shortages, and supply chain challenges influencing how properties prepare for winter?
Yeah, I'll take that one. I think they just, rising costs, right? We know insurance rates, rising costs due to hurricanes and other things and other storms. I think you just have to be prepared better, right? We live in a world today, rents aren't rising as fast as they used to. You have interest rates high and all the costs. And so you can't afford to have a big incident, right? Mm-hmm. And being prepared, taking care of your CapEx, understanding your needs of your property. We've talked about it several times and we're going to probably say it 10 more times, right? Being ready, understanding what your property, how it's built is super important and what's happened in the past to take care of it. You don't have those unaccounted for added cost. I would say, I'll tell a quick story. We have our Maintenance Legends program where we celebrate maintenance legends every year. And every month we vote on 3 winners that we take to NAA. And around October and November, we start getting the stories of maintenance guys that are maintenance ladies, professionals that stayed on site for 17 hours because they had a pipe burst and
Oh,
they
yeah.
flooded 7 apartments. And sometimes the voters go, that person's amazing. And I'm like, is he? Or is she? Because they should have prepared and it probably wouldn't have happened if they
Ouch.
prepared.
Wow, that HG Supply, true.
And
I was all impressed until he said that.
yeah, but we get those a lot,
Yeah.
right? And yes, it's amazing. They stay on site and work through and help your residents take care of their flooded apartment and all of that. But sometimes you think, okay, could have they prevented it
Yeah.
by insulating their pipes or putting a heater in that one closet that always freezes every year and those types of things. I think just watching out for the things you learn to save costs in the future.
Yeah, I think that, every year we take a little bit away, just as you were saying, Alex, how weather's becoming even more unpredictable. So
Yes.
every year throws us a new little fun. I remember on Christmas Eve a couple of years ago, we were all on an emergency call when the weather was in the southeast under 32 for a certain amount, and everything started popping off at the same time. We all got together, and it was, at the time it seemed terrible, but at the end of it we all came together better to give everybody effectively a really good regional support, and all of our vendor partners came in, helped us to get through those challenges. Should we have been more prepared in hindsight? But that had really never happened for that
Yeah.
amount of time. We'll see. What are some of the best practices you've seen that other operators in the industry could learn from? So what have you seen that has really been beneficial?
Yeah, I saw your podcast a little while ago about hurricane preparedness, very relevant to being a Florida person.
Yes.
And a lot of those points hit home for winterization as well, because a lot of the same things will happen. Residents can be without power. Residents can be impacted significantly with a lack of water or lack of HVAC services. So, like with hurricanes, we try and start preparing our clients and our partners in April and May to be ready for hurricane season. Similarly, for for winter, we start sharing those checklists and the spin data to help our clients prepare in mid-October. So literally right now, we're going to site, reviewing those materials and information with our client partners and ensuring that they're ready for the potential impacts that could be coming in the wintertime, making sure that they have winterization plans in place with extra fittings, extra pipe insulation, doing the preventative maintenance necessary on HVAC. Also, bulk orders on certain items like ice melt, like Raymond mentioned before. That is the most common mad dash we see in the winter. Is a nor'easter will come and there's no ice melt to be found. So we definitely recommend bulk purchasing on that. Utilizing the maintenance logs on site for historical records in conjunction with the data we provide also helps understand what can potentially go wrong on site, especially as you look at aged properties. So we definitely see a lot of that. Also, there's a degree of resident satisfaction where you want to leverage things like sealing windows and using weather stripping to help ensure that you're reducing the energy consumption on site for the residents. And that's a great best practice and something we always help recommend through our green team to help the residents save, because not only can you help them stay safe and keep the property operating, but you help them save on their energy consumption, which ultimately helps you guys in resident satisfaction and lease renewals.
Absolutely. They all go together.
Absolutely.
So I guess it's ice melt, milk, and bread that all go out. Is that what you're telling me?
That's
in
right.
The Southeast when it gets cold?
Not in the south, no ice melt in the southeast, but definitely in the northeast.
So how can multifamily leadership from being reactive, a reactive maintenance approach, to being proactive with a preventative strategy? I guess we've talked a lot about that already today, but is there anything additional that we've left off that you feel like people need to know out there?
I think I would add, we haven't talked about our residents, right? And educating our residents on when we put out the signs to keep your faucets dripping because it is going to be cold. Don't leave your balcony closet doors open where there's a hot water heater in there.
Yeah.
And in following the instructions that you send, and some operators do it great, right? Because they have a messaging platform that they send to the residents and they send out notices. And so to your earlier question, we see the operators that do a great job in communicating to the residents tend to have less issues, but also their residents understand if there is an issue, they did everything you could. And so it's the days where the ice melt is not out and they can't get to work, they're upset, and resident retention is super important. And so communicating with them on what is happening on their property and what they should do inside their unit is very important.
Yeah, I think that does. It gives you a better chance to get a good review, even if something bad happens, right?
Yep.
So, what role does data forecasting or benchmarking play in helping properties make smarter decisions?
Yeah, for us, it's providing that information on what properties have done using their spend history with us. What have they bought? And then making sure that they don't have it. So if you bought a shovel last year, is the shovel still there, or do we need to get you a new shovel? How much ice melt did you use last year? There's historicals we use. We use it in the summer on how hot it's going to be and how many condensing units we carry in our distribution centers. And we do the same thing for how much ice melt we need in certain markets. And what is it called? The Farmer's Almanac.
Yeah.
Right? We're following that a little bit. And we have, I think, meteorologists on staff probably that track some of that, but using the data to help and then informing our customers. So using the national account team saying, hey, last year you did a bulk order of ice melt. It prevented it. It worked out great. Or even in the field, sending the field sellers out or inside sellers to make those phone calls to your properties.
Yeah,
And
we can put together packages by region, by property of what that disaster response need can look like. But the most important thing and the most important resource to provide that data is your local team member from HD Supply. They're there to work for you guys, and we appreciate that partnership and privilege to work with Pegasus. So lean on us to help share that information. We're there to help support you through these tough times and make things happen.
Yeah, and I think what I'm hearing too is that it's really good too if you have people that are new. If there's a turnover of anything with a manager, a maintenance supervisor, and our facilities team, you guys already have that data. They don't have to rely on anything else or their own gut feeling. They can really look it up and have actual factual based information to make a decision on.
Absolutely.
So I really love that. What safety first practices should every property team adopt to protect them and their residents and the staff during colder months?
I'll lean on Raymond for this one because he's done it.
Oh no, Raymond.
Yeah, that's a
Story
lot of
here?
pressure. No, I don't know if there's a story here, but I think obviously safety is the number one concern. We say to our drivers, the number one thing is to get you back home to your families, right? And so for us, we take care of our drivers and make sure that the roads are safe, right? To get that product to you. So when you guys need ice melt, we make sure we take all those safety precautions. But for a property, I think it's same thing, right? Looking at, where is it going to be slippery? Are the sidewalks clear to get the residents to their car? Can they get to work? Are the steps to the second floor, are they clean? And so that takes a lot of preparation to make sure that operators and property managers have the right staff. How does their team get to work that day and clear those sidewalks so people can get to work? So I think from a safety standpoint, people are pretty safe in their home. It's how do you get them from their front door to their car to get to work? And then we rely on the city of Atlanta or Alpharetta, wherever we're at, to get us safe to work. But I think that's the most important thing is to make sure the sidewalks are clear, your roads are clear. We made joke about the sticks that Alex wasn't aware
you have your
of.
sticks
Make
out.
sure you have your sticks so you don't hit your car against the curbs or a fire hydrant or those kind of things. Just being safe and getting them out of the property safely.
And training is super important. A lot of people are aware that HD Supply offers training on ACs and appliances and all the other mechanical stuff, but we also offer a plethora of training around safety and best practices through our training department that you can take advantage of through your national accounts team. So we always encourage you, take advantage of the full suite of training we have available. The better trained the staff is, the better they're going to respond to emergencies.
And I'll go back to my earlier answer about residents and educating them, right? So when it's cold, the little space heaters come out, and we know space heaters aren't the safest things. And
I personally love a space
I know, right? But they're probably not the safest underneath your desk. I think our office won't allow us to do those, but space heaters can cause problems in the long run and different types of method of heating your unit outside your normal HVAC systems. I think educating your customers or your residents on safety measures that they need to take as well is important.
Agreed. Yeah, just preventative. Can you share a success story where HD Supply helped a property avoid a costly issue through proper planning or solutions?
Yeah, we have one in the Northeast, and it's a very simple case study, right? All we're talking about is being prepared, making sure you have the materials on hand, leveraging your partnerships to have the data to be prepared for those events that will eventually happen. And we did this with a client in the Northeast that had repeated property freezes on pipes that kept causing issues. So we worked with them by sharing some of this predictive data to help them be prepared in advance on this property and in their portfolio in general. And we executed on this last year where we provided them custom installation packages and delivered in bulk prior to the temperatures dropping. So we did it now in the fall, right? And when winter came around, they were fully prepared, for any events that would come. And their entire portfolio saw a 70% reduction in weatherization calls and pipe bursts in their portfolio in the Northeast.
70%?
70%.
That is huge. I can't even imagine what the ROI on that.
It had to have been huge because you're not paying disaster response companies. You're not paying out insurance claims on flooded units for burst pipes. There's just so many things that are, no pun intended, downstream from when those types of things happen, that it just really saved them a lot of time, increased resident satisfaction across their entire Northeast portfolio. And it was a very simple thing. Just use predictive data through HD Supply to help you prepare for insulating your pipes.
Wow. That's great. Is there any other stories you want to share?
I don't have any, but no, that's a great story. I think we talk about preparing in the fall, but we prepare for it in the prior year when we do the budget.
True.
And the CapEx, and making sure you have in the budget all the things, and especially if you have CapEx projects that you need, and insulating pipe, or you might have to go into some attics and add some more insulation or those types of things. So I think we talk about preparation to order materials in the fall and getting ready for it, but it really starts a year prior when you're preparing your budget.
That's an excellent point, Raymond. What common mistakes do you see operations teams making, and how can they be avoided?
Yeah, one common mistake we see is just operators waiting too long. We definitely want to make sure that they're understanding their inventory needs today on how to be proactive. There's a lot of management companies that don't have proactive plans in place on the materials they need, and also creating a communication plan with your residents to ensure that they're knowledgeable and prepared in how they need to work with the management company on site during any disaster response.
Quick answer to that: if you're seeing this, call your HD Supply rep today and order your winterization materials today.
How can leaders today lay the groundwork for even better preparation next winter and beyond?
Next winter and beyond. I think just continuing to lead your teams, right? As you're a property manager, understanding your budget, great leaders get people to follow and do extraordinary things in extraordinary times, right? And when you do have a leak and you still prepared, getting your maintenance teams to take care of your residents, do those types of things, but also then do the blocking and tackling that we do every day, in the budgets, and making sure it's ordered and the material that you need is ordered. And so I think it's very simple: prepare every day, do the simple blocking and tackling, and then if something happens, doing extraordinary things in extraordinary times. So for me, it's pretty simple.
That's fair. I felt like we saw that last year with Helene. We had a lot of teams who did an extraordinary job during that unprecedented situation. If you could leave multifamily operators with one leadership level takeaway about winter prep, what would it be? Make it good, make it catchy, make it memorable. We're going to go with Alex and we'll end with Raymond.
No pressure.
No pressure.
First off, I want to tell Pegasus, thank you guys for your partnership. It's really a privilege to work for you guys. We appreciate what you guys allow for us to do. Our success isn't possible without partners like you guys supporting HD Supply and our growth and allowing us the opportunity to work for you. So thank you very much. We're very excited to grow with you guys, and we know Pegasus is on the path to growth. So thank you. One thing I would say is I didn't play basketball in Europe like Raymond, but I'll leave you with a thought that one of my coaches used to tell me, which is a little bit known, but it's preparation takes discipline. Discipline equals freedom. Freedom will drive those efficiencies, and efficiencies will create opportunity. So when you have those cadences in place, it will create the opportunity for you guys to grow, drive resident satisfaction, and reduce your costs.
Love that. That was a great one. All right, Raymond.
I have to follow that one. So
yeah.
I'll keep it simple. Start early, partner smart, and lead your teams with clarity.
All right.
So I think that's the simple way to say it after Alex's great answer.
Thank you both for being
Absolutely.
here. We really appreciate it. I know that'll help a lot of teams out there get prepared. I'm glad we had some Southeast and Northeast perspective for everybody out there, for our listeners. And we really just appreciate you both being here. Thank you
so much.